What's up everyone? Today I'm going to be breaking down a range of plugins that have been a real source of inspiration for me over the past few months. These plugins are by a company called Baby Audio. I'm probably really late onto this one. The plugins are used by some of the best producers in the industry and are super creative and innovative plugins. You might have seen some of them around before. All of them have a fantastic interface and really user-friendly controls, and they offer a range of plugins from compression, saturation, lo-fi effects, delays, reverbs, and just all sorts of different tools to take your music to the next level. So yeah, I'm just going to have a quick breakdown of some of my favourite plugins, what they do and what I use them for. Some of these are free, some of them are premium plugins. However, I did email Baby Audio telling them I was making this video, and they have kindly given me an affiliate link, but they've also given me a discount code as well. So if you use the code Mondo10, which I'll drop in the description down below, you'll get 10% off any of the plugins. So thanks Baby Audio for that. But that said, it's not a sponsored video. I'm not being paid to say any of this. It's just my experience with the plugins. But yeah, I'm just going to go into the first demo, which is a free one-button chorus plugin, which sounds fantastic, and I'll show you what I use it for now. So to demo these sounds, I've used some loops from my Dreamy Lo-Fi Hip Hop Volume 1 sample pack, the last sample pack that I made. So I've just taken out this Dreamy Lo-Fi guitar loop and separated the stems out. I'm going to show you the first plugin. So the first plugin is the Magic Switch. It's effectively just a one-button chorus plugin modelled on the Juno 60. So I've actually got the guitar version of the TC Electronic model as well. It's not quite the same as the Juno 60. It's got its own sort of characteristics, this sort of dark, detuned sound. But it's such a great plugin and it's completely free. So if I just play the guitar loop and I engage the chorus, it's got a really warm, wide, sort of analog feeling chorus sound. And you've also got this dry, wet slider as well. Now generally with this, I don't use it on full whack. You can do if you want a really sort of vintage chorus tone, a bit of a Tomish vibe, but generally I'm just using it subtly to add a bit of space and characteristics to my guitar. So I'll play the guitar and I'll just sort of slide it, start to add a little bit of space, a little bit of carry there, and that sort of 30% is where I usually use it. And unlike the other free plugin that I'm going to talk about in a minute, even though this has got a sort of premium version as well, I still find myself using this for certain things, which I'll explain in a minute as well. But yeah, that is the Magic Switch, just a nice, simple, but really usable VST that's completely free, so worth checking out. And that really segues into the next plugin, which is the Super VHS plugin. So this is the Super VHS plugin. And as you can tell, the plugin looks fantastic. Similar to a lot of the Baby Audio plugins, the look and interface of them are really intuitive, really easy to use, and they look fantastic. That's something that they're really leading the way with, I have to say. So this one is, again, it has the chorus effect. So if I play the guitar, play the Magic, you've got the chorus effect again. You've also got this heat, which is a sort of vintage saturation. Adds a bit of sort of compression, distortion to the sound. Another thing you've got is this wash sound, which is actually modelled on the cheap reverb units of the sort of 80s and 90s. So it's not going for that high-end premium reverb sound, it's just going for a sort of low-budget reverb. It just sounds pretty cool and it works great in the lo-fi setting. And then you've also got this drift, which is your typical sort of frequency pitch shifting that you expect to find on all the sort of lo-fi plugins. You've also got a bit crusher with the shape, some static noise, a dry wet mix, and then just an out level as well. We're going to push the gain or reduce it. So all in all, it's a great plugin, similar to the likes of the R220, but it is a bit cheaper. And to be honest, it's probably a bit underappreciated. It's got a lot of the great features that the R220 does have, and it sounds fantastic, and the model's great. It's a little bit more simple, but often that's not a bad thing. And as I mentioned earlier, a lot of the time I'll use this just for the sort of heat. So I might also use the Magic Switch as well, so that way I can have the chorus effect subtly with the Magic Switch, a little bit of saturation, maybe a little bit of wobble from this. But if I target the Magic, there's no way of individually changing the dry wet of the chorus within the Super VHS, so you'd have to either duplicate the Super VHS or just use the magic switch. But yeah, that is Super VHS. And the next plugin is more of a utility tool that has just become such a staple in my music production, mixing, and overall workflow. So this plugin is Smooth Operator, and Smooth Operator is effectively a resonance controller, a compression and EQ tool that really manages the sort of harsh resonant frequencies in a track in real time, and it's such a fantastic tool to use on things like guitar recordings, vocals, or anything that might have some unpleasant frequencies that you just want to get rid of on the fly. So I'll just give you a demo of what it does. So I've taken a guitar sound from the sample pack, pitched it down so it's a little bit muddy. So this is what it sounds like. So some of the lower frequencies here I want to get rid of ideally. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this threshold down a bit so it's coming into effect sooner. And this frequency here is the frequencies that is taken away from the audio. So first I've moved the whole level down so everything's affected above this line. I can also take an individual section and target these little peaks that I want to get rid of. And instantly it just gets rid of that really muddy low end bass. So there's a few features on here. You've got the solo feature here. If I turn that on, I can hear what's being removed there. I can also change the focus, which controls how sort of smooth and accurate the cutting away of the frequencies are, or it rounds it off a bit more if I go lower down. Got a general output level, and you can change the mode from a high-res mode to a classic mode. And one of the main reasons I love this plugin over other similar plugins is because the classic mode is quite low on the CPU usage. So I'm finding that I can put this on a guitar recording straight away and not have to worry about the additional latency that you get with some of the similar plugins that I can only really use in the mixing stage. You've also got the option to sort of sidechain effectively to other sounds, and this is another great feature of this. There are ways of doing similar effects with stock plugins, but they're a lot more difficult and time consuming. But with this you can effectively sidechain out certain frequencies. So generally if you're sidechaining with a compressor, it'll make the whole volume or something a little bit lower to say let the kick punch through. But a lot of the time the kick's just taking up a certain frequency band in the lower end of the spectrum. So this would just duck away that frequency band and keep the higher bands. So the kick punches through, but you're still not losing these sort of higher frequencies, which is a great tool to use in the mixing stage. So yeah, that's Smooth Operator. I would definitely recommend checking this one out, especially if you've not got any of the other similar tools like Soothe or Gullfoss. It's really a fantastic tool, and it's got its own place amongst those as well. Plus, as I said, much cheaper, so worth checking out. Next up is my personal favourite from this range of plugins, and that is Spaced Out, and that's the one that really got me into the Baby Audio plugins recently. So this is a Spaced Out. As always, it looks fantastic with the Baby Audio interface. It looks like a spaceship, and you can even toggle it to night mode as well for when you're doing those late night recording sessions. So this is just a fantastic creative tool for coming up with interesting melody, or just making something that's a little bit boring sound more interesting. You've effectively got three different sections. Over here is your reverb, over here is your sort of delay and modulation sequencer, and this is the general control interface of it all. So I've applied it to this piano loop, just a simple loop, and as soon as I toggle this you get instant space, delay, modulation. Quite an extreme effect as it is at the moment, but I'll just break down what's going on. So here we've got the different reverb types from vacuum to outer space, increasing the sort of size of the reverb. This section is just an intuitive way to change the sort of effect that we're getting, the length of the reverb, as well as the sort of general feel of it. And as with all the other Baby Audio plugins, you don't necessarily need to know exactly what everything's doing from a technical point of view. The point of these is that you can just mess around with them and find something that just works for you. So get it up there in the lush section. You can affect the pre-delay, the stardust, which is like a sort of shimmer that adds to the end of the reverb tail. Tidy it up, add width. There's just so much you can do. Over here is the delay mode. So I'll go right over to just isolate the delay. I'll explain what's going on here in a second. So you can change the sort of delay frequency and type. I'll keep it on straight. And then here you control where the delay kicks in. You can adjust the intensity, different settings for the width of it. change the sort of delay type. You've got this wonky, clean, lo-fi mode and a hazy mode. And one of my personal favourites is adding a sort of reverse function. This is something I've used a lot in recent tracks. Just you might notice it in my intros. Generally I'll have like a guitar or a piano melody with this subtly on in the background, just adding some reverb textures to it. Works really great. And then over here we've got the control panel, which controls where it is it 100% delay, 100% reverb, somewhere in the middle, and then general dry and wet. Put it over here somewhere. And another great thing with this is the generate button. So you can just play it, keep it in generate, until something sounds good to you. Just a great creative way of coming out of a sort of writer's block, coming up with new ideas. Overall, fantastic tool. I've not really talked about the presets much. These have all got some fantastic presets. I'm not going to go into them today. Just going to show you how the interfaces work. But out of the box, there's just some great things to play around with preset-wise in the Baby Audio stuff. But yeah, that is spaced out. Would definitely recommend getting this one of all of them. It's the one that I've used the most, and it's just really great for helping your creativity, come up with new sounds, and get some really interesting sounds that you wouldn't otherwise be able to come up with typical reverb and delay plugins. So next up is another delay plugin with some fantastic features. They've got a free version and a premium version, so I'll break them both down. So the plugins are Baby Come Back and Come Back Kid. So if I put Baby Come Back on first, this is just a fantastic free plugin. As I said, it's a delay plugin, so I'll just play this guitar here. It's got some great width or analog settings, or just some lo-fi and modulated settings as well. Keep on the analog setting there. You can change the time, make it more of a wide ping pong delay, adjust the feedback here, change the delay type here, or you've got this ducker feature as well, which is a fantastic feature in these plugins, which I've not seen in some other plugins that I use. It's effectively a way of ducking the wet signal, so the delay dips away to make space for the dry signal. So when you're using delays, especially if you've got a long feedback, you can have a lot of chaotic sounds clashing. So this just makes it a lot cleaner. So that's the free version, completely free. Again, worth downloading, even if you're not going to get the premium version. I would 100% recommend getting the free version. Just a great tool to have. And then the Comeback Kit is the premium version. So it's got the same features as the free, along with some other sounds. So it's got the same sort of functions for the delay, ping pong, feedback time, etc. Again, you've got the ducking, the dry out, and the wet out. But then you've also got some great features for adding flavour and character to your sound as well. So if I hit Comeback Kid twice, it turns the delay off. So I can use some of the effects. So one that I'm using quite a lot, just because it's an easy one to just drop on and use straight away, is the wider feature. So it uses the has widening effect, which basically takes the signal and delays it differently in both left and right panning, so they're slightly out of time with each other, which gives it a real wide feel. So if I play this now, that's with it on, that's without. It's just a nice, easy way to give it a wider sound without any sort of issues with phasing. You've also got the richer feature, which is some more sort of pitch shifting. And then you've got this flavour section, so you can make it a lo-fi sound. You can add some tape saturation. Maybe engage the swirl, which is like a phaser. Or you can add some of the source, which is a reverb. And then again, you've got some high cuts and low cuts for controlling the sound. But this one I do use a lot with and without the delay feature enabled. Generally, I'm just throwing it on there to give it a bit of width and character to some of my higher melodies. And again, I'll turn the delay on if I want it to sort of have a little bit of sparkle as well. But yeah, that is the video for today. I hope it was useful. Please do let me know if you want me to go into any of the plugins in more detail. I do know I had a quick sort of brief overview here, and I probably haven't done them all as much justice as I could have done in a single video, but I just want to share with you the tools that have been making such a big difference to me of late. Also let me know if this is the type of video format that you enjoy, or you want me to stick to music production, guitar tutorials, that sort of thing as well. But don't forget, if you are looking to buy them and have won you over, please do use the affiliate link, as it really helps the channel. bring out more content like this. And don't forget to use the code Mondo10 for 10% off your orders. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.